Hey everyone, it's Joseph Bradley here with CoachJBrad.com, and that's where the mind snacks are happening every single day. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, then go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button, and also hit the notification button, so every time a new video comes out, then you'll be able to you'll get the notification. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my blog to receive mind snacks every single day with Coach J Brad, then go ahead and just click on the link in the description and enter your information here. You'll get a Mind Snack daily. Now, Mind Snack is basically anything that's inspirational, anything that's motivational, whatever it is I have in my mind that particular day. I usually put it out on a blog and now a video, and you'll get that. And you'll get the notification in your email as soon as I put something out. And every single day, there's something that I have in my mind that's motivating me, that's inspiring me to move forward through the day. And so I want to go ahead and invite you, if that sounds like something that you want, to go ahead and enter your name, your email here, and you'll go ahead and you'll receive that as soon as they're available. Now, I want to just take the time this morning or today to share the blog post that I wrote today. I was inspired to do it. Maybe it's time for an upgrade. And the way that this came about, it's funny how thoughts come about. They come through little tiny experiences, little tiny events. My coach says that every experience matters, so you can't overlook anything, because you just never know where that next exponential leveraged moment is going to come from. So honor every experience, right? No matter how negative it was, how positive it was, no matter how painful it was or how pleasurable it was, honor that experience. And so in today's experience, and I actually wrote about it, Paul and I, we were just kind of chatting on the phone. And so the conversation got really good, as it normally does. And then Paul said, "Hey man, you want to jump on a quick Zoom?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And every time Paul invites me to a Zoom, I usually will accept the invitation, just because I know that our conversations are going to turn into something magical, right? It's iron sharpening iron. He's one of my best friends, and we just always just share these great ideas from marketing, spirituality, personal growth, and just it's always something awesome, right? So I didn't hesitate to accept the invitation, and so he sent over the Zoom link. Now, when he sent the Zoom link over, something interesting happened. He could hear me. I could hear him. No, he could hear me and he could see me, but I couldn't hear him. I could see him. And so at first I was going to try to read his lips while he was talking, but I'm not a good lip reader, so that didn't work. So I said, well, let me change the audio. So I clicked on the audio, and to change that, it didn't work. I left the meeting and came back, and that didn't work. And Paul even ended the meeting and said, "Hey, let me give you a new link," right? Did that, but nothing worked. And the most frustrating part about this was, just yesterday, everything was working just fine, right? Everything was working just fine. So I couldn't figure out what was wrong, because I couldn't figure out what was wrong. So then I said, well, let me just go ahead and restart my computer and see if that helps. So I clicked on the restart button, and this is what I saw right here: sleep, update, and shut down. Sleep, update, and shut down. Update and restart. Now, whenever you don't have to know a lot about computers to understand that whenever you see the option to update, that means that there's something else that needs to be added. There's a better version available to your computer. And so right then, I kind of knew what the problem was. The current version was no longer good enough to function effectively. And then so I clicked the update. I finished the update. Everything worked just fine after that. Right now, that actually led me to write this post, because isn't that how life is? Isn't that how business is? Isn't that how relationships are, where 1 minute everything is working just fine, right? Everything is awesome, and then for no apparent reason, it isn't. And there's no warning, there's no signals, it just isn't working anymore. And this can be super frustrating, because there usually are no clues leading up to the breakdown. Or are there? So I want to explore that with you just for a few minutes today. And, if you want to, you can actually go ahead and read the blog as well. But I just want to explore that, because I believe that there are little tiny subtle clues that show up, and they're difficult to pay attention to, because they usually show up in the middle of everything working just fine. They usually show up when we're winning. They show up when we're flowing and everything is just amazing, right? Well, actually, they do show up. The same clues show up when nothing's working too, but it's kind of easy to pay attention when nothing is working because nothing's working, right? So I just want to take a few minutes to share some hints that it may be time for an update or an upgrade in your life, right? And this can be in your business, this can be in your relationship, this can be in your health and wellness plan. This can just be, this is a principle that works for any area of your life. So pay attention when you see these things happening. The first one is pretty obvious, right? What you're doing just isn't working. And you know it's not working because you aren't getting the desired results that you think you should be getting by now. And there's something that needs attention here, but even though it's obvious, you want to move with caution. And here's the reason why. One of the most common mistakes that so many people make, and this is the reason why a lot of people never get to the life that they want, they never see the kind of results that they desire everything they do, is because they make the common mistake of changing an effective strategy that just hasn't had the time to grow into its effectiveness yet, right? So there's a huge difference between something that isn't working and something that isn't working yet. And if you're feeling frustrated in your efforts because you aren't seeing the kind of results that you want to see, then before you start making changes anywhere, before you do anything different, just stop and ask yourself this question. Am I doing something that isn't working? Or am I doing something that isn't working yet? And then answer these questions. First of all, how long have you been using this strategy? Is this strategy something that you just learned yesterday on a YouTube channel and you decided to try it today and you're mad because the results aren't working? Or have you been doing it for a while, right? What's your target result? Are you looking to lose 5 pounds? Or are you looking to release 25 pounds, 30 pounds? And what's the natural timeline for your desired result to take place? And the reason why I say natural, because there's all kind of artificial ways to get anything, but what we want is sustained success, sustained results, something that we can keep up. And the only thing that sustains that sustains in a progressive way is something that's organic and something that's natural, right? And then the last question that you want to answer is, are you performing your strategy to the best of your ability and giving it all that you can give it? Now, once you answer these questions, then that's going to actually reveal to you what it is that you're dealing with in this current situation. And so if the reality is that what you're doing just isn't working yet, it hasn't had the time to be effective, then keep doing what you're doing. That's the key. Keep doing what you're doing and have the patience, and eventually what's going to happen is you're going to see the results. So you can't cram in the farm, and that's really what we're doing. We're planting seeds and we're growing, right? You want 1 million people following you, it's going to take some time to get to that point, right? You want 1,000 people, 10,000 people on your list, it's going to take some time, especially if you don't have a list yet. You're not going to have 1,000 people tomorrow, and even if you do have 1,000 people tomorrow, they're not really going to know who you are, and so you get the time to grow. You get the time to grow with the results and become the person that could actually handle that, right? You can't release weight too fast because that can be an unhealthy reality. You can't pick up weight too fast. So everything is it's like the life of a farmer. And so if the reality is the other, that it just isn't working, well, then it's time to kind of pull out and figure out a new plan on how to get to where you're going, right? Now, the second strategy or the second hint is not so obvious. Everything is going, and I'm sure at least I mean, everyone's been here at least one time in life, right? Everything's going extremely well. You finally figured out what life is all about, and you're off to the races. Man, the only part that I regret, you ever said this before, this line right here, you ever said this before, man, the only part of this I regret is I didn't do it. I didn't find this any sooner. This is the life. I remember Bugs Bunny said that on a cartoon one time. This is the life, right? Does that sound familiar to you? You ever gotten to the point where everything finally started to move in your favor and you felt like you had finally arrived, right? But I'm gonna let you know that is the hint. That's the hint, right? See, the one thing that our conditioned mind is always aiming to find is a comfort. It's a comfort. It's finding comfort. So as we brainstorm and as we're creating, as we're masterminding and figuring things out, our conditioned mind is also doing the same thing. It's strategizing. It's masterminding. It's looking to find a way to make it all feel good. The conditioned mind is looking for a place to land, a safe place to land. That's what it's doing. It's looking for a safe place to land, right? But here's the reality. Here's the reality. Comfort is the enemy of progress. That's what P.T. Barnum said. Comfort is the enemy of progress. So when you're starting to feel like you're finally in a place where you can't lose, then take these two salutations. First of all, congratulations. You've finally broken through and you've experienced a notable level of success, and you deserve to celebrate this transformative accomplishment. See, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they ignore the good things they've done. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie. You know, as an entrepreneur, it's difficult to move forward and do something well, and then look back and say, wow, that was great, before I start criticizing the way I did it and finding how I could have done it better. So celebrating even the smallest successes is vital to your sustained success, because you're acknowledging the fact that you've broken through. You've worked hard. You deserve to celebrate. The second salutation is caution, because here's what just happened. You've taken your foot off the accelerator and you're trying to coast into greatness. Now, there is a huge barrier up ahead, and it requires much more power, much more creativity, much more effort, and much more persistence than you needed to get to where you are now. There's a book by Michael Goldsmith called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And there's so much truth in that statement, because the reason why you made it this far, the reason why you've won, the reason why you're able to celebrate it all, is because you used everything you had to get to this point. Is that true, or is that true? You used everything you had, right? You went through all the people who said you wouldn't make it. You went through all the you went through all the times you could have given up and could have quit, but you made it because you used everything. You emptied the tank, you used everything you had, right? And so the challenge that's coming up, right? The next challenge, it requires a better version of you, because opposition has figured you out. Opposition knows the game that you're playing now. So it requires a better version of you. And so I want to suggest that maybe it's time for an upgrade and an update in your life. Maybe it's time for that. But don't worry. Don't worry. Don't be afraid, because just like last time, you'll find the resources you need. You'll find the people who can align with your vision, the energy to move forward, the clarity to see the end point picture, the group that will mastermind with you into the next phase. Just remember this: there's always a next up. There's always a next level. There's always a next step. So if you found this video valuable, if you found the blog post valuable, then please share it in the comments and let me know exactly what stood out to you. And if there's any way that I can actually help you, then let me know as well. Also, if you know anyone who can benefit from this post, then feel free to share it with them. And oh yeah, if you're looking for a group of really awesome people who will help you to sharpen your skills and get you the kind of results that you're looking for, then check out the webinar that I did with my two good friends, Paul and Mike, earlier today. It'll be up for the next 24 hours. I believe it will definitely help to turn your red lights into green. You can find the link inside. You can find the link in the blog post. It's also in the description down below. So that's all I have for now. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.